Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for tuning in to Canal Algérie's Nightly News. I'm your host, Leticia Sidqawi, and here are the headlines. The electoral campaign for the upcoming presidential elections kicks off with several activities held by the three candidates to convince citizens of their programs. The oil and gas company Sonatrach opens up to international markets with several agreements likely to boost the energy sector and national economy. The Palestinian people call for the immediate cessation of the Zionist aggression and the implementation of the international laws to end this humanitarian nightmare. And the situation is taking a turn for the worse in Western Sahara, with the Moroccan strategy based on human rights violations and the plunder of natural resources. Welcome back. First in our news, the electoral campaign for the upcoming presidential elections kicked off today with several activities held by the three candidates, namely the FFS candidate Youssef Aouchiche, the independent candidate Abdelmajid Tebboune, and the MSP candidate Abdelali Hassani Sharif, to convince citizens to vote for their programs and so to attain the presidential place. Roundup of these activities with Melissa Kapash.
With the kickoff of the electoral campaign, the FFS candidate Aouchiche Youssef chose the heart of the capital Algiers to organize and meet with the civil society. The candidate visited the Kasbah, the Martyrs Square, and Bab el Oued. During his visit, he stated that his party is committed to support the social segments through his program and vision presented during this electoral campaign, hoping to not only back the population, but to also improve their purchasing power by several means, including the increase of the minimum wage reaching 40,000 dinars, and create also what is called a minimum universal wage amounting to 20,000 dinars. Aouchiche promised the Algerian people to always side with them and improve their living conditions, recalling his determination to consolidate the rule of law and democracy. On behalf of the independent candidate Tebboune Abdelmajid, the Secretary General of the National Liberation Front, or FLN, Abdelkarim Ben Barak, indicated in his rally held in Mostaganem province that before 2019, our country was on the brink of collapse. For that year until today, candidate Tebboune rooted out grey zones and worked to create a balanced system among the different social strata. He also kicked off development projects in several provinces to boost the national economy, adding that we must back this figure and be on his side to remain in office, calling on, by the way, the sons and daughters of the National Liberation Front, or FLN, as well as its executives, to raise the awareness of people in villages about this important event and make the 7th of September a successful political event. After observing a moment of silence at the level of the Martyrs Sanctuary and the House of Lias Darrish, the MSP candidate Hassani Sharif Abdelali crisscrossed the streets of La Grande Poste and the Emir Abdelkader Square, where he stressed that his program is based on the history of Algeria, indicating the importance of Emir Abdelkader as one of the first to fight against the French colonizer, recalling that his party will follow the path of our valiant martyrs and that his program Forza will be indeed an opportunity for all Algerians to rise in a developed Algeria, adding that his program also aims at freeing economy from hydrocarbon dependency, to finally end the first day of his electoral campaign by a visit to the home of the founder of the MSP, Sheikh Mahfoud Nahnah, located in Blida province.
Those were the three candidates aspiring to attain the presidential palace. Indeed, electoral programs will be at the forefront of voters' attention, both at home and abroad. The national community, which represents a significant portion of the electorate, reaffirms its participation in this election. To support this, the ANI has deployed the necessary logistical resources overseas, a case in point in the Pontoise region in France. Lila Ben Farhat and Manan Maafa.
This awareness campaign, which includes all civil society actors belonging to our community settled in France, aims to spread awareness regarding the importance of taking part in the upcoming presidentials of September 7th.
This is fundamental for us and for our country. If we don't take care of our homeland from here, no one else will do it for us. It is our responsibility. Voting means a lot for Algeria and to me, especially since I immigrated here to France. It's a way for us to support our country. From afar, I have deep love for Algeria.
A digital platform was created as a guide and link between the Algerian community and polling stations. It also provides all information concerning the voting operation.
On the official website of the Algerian consulate in Pontoise, we added a digital platform, and via the consular registration number, we get all the information regarding polling stations, the date of the election, and if the citizen is registered or not. The Independent National Authority for Elections in Pontoise is active for some time now. This zone gathers 7 large constituencies. We demanded the opening of 4 polling centers and 15 ballots bureaus to accommodate the 60,000 plus registered voters.
The participation of the Algerian community in this political event showcases its sense of belonging to the motherland and its willingness to participate in the building of state institutions.
In other news, the group Sonatrach signed in Algiers a contract with CPECC, China Petroleum Engineering and Construction Corporation, for the achievement of new boosting units of the Adrar gas field located in the Adrar Basin, which will enable to compensate for the natural drop in pressure and maintain the field's production at 100 million meter cubes a day. The contract amounts to $210 million, including 7 billion Algerian dinars. The project includes the achievement of 3 compression trains, the modification of intake manifolds and separation, the installation of booster pumps, as well as connections with existing installation. It also includes the extension of the fire protection network, anti-intrusion, and remote surveillance systems. This contract also provides for the construction of an electrical substation, the upgrading of the existing integrated control and safety system with the completion period of 32 months. The commissioning of the new facility is scheduled for the end of the second quarter. This year, the National Oil and Gas Company conquered new markets around the world by signing many international contracts. Sonatrach Group is also committed to further diversify its activities with a particular focus on developing local production projects, a strategy aimed at enhancing national self-sufficiency, less dependency on imports, but with more exports. More details with Ines Kiddo.
By signing 16 contracts for the export of Algerian oil in 2024, the Sonatrach Group has consolidated its presence on the international markets, confirming the constant demand for Algerian hydrocarbons despite the current geopolitical situation. This expansion is also reflected in gas exports to Germany, the Czech Republic and Croatia, as well as oil exports to the US West Coast, India and Brazil. Algeria's great stability and economic dynamic activity are 2 factors currently attracting the interest of foreign partners, particularly in the mining sector. In this respect, we have signed exclusive agreements with 6 global companies, including ExxonMobil and Chevron Corporation of the US, Eni from Italy, Sinopec from China, Total Energies from France, Midad Holding from Saudi Arabia, and Tethys Oil from Sweden. We have reached the stage of contract negotiations in accordance with the 2019 hydrocarbons law, which offers several advantages to foreign companies. The Sonatrach Group announces the launch of a submarine pipeline project to export electricity to Spain. This energy project will join a similar one already underway between Algeria and Italy, consolidating Algeria's links with the European electricity market. National electricity production amounts to almost 25 gigawatts this summer. We consumed over 19 megawatts, leaving 6 megawatts available for peak demand. The rest of the year, particularly in winter, the consumption rate is around 10 megawatts. We have a surplus of electricity production for 10 months of the year, which means we can easily export the surplus. Algeria will become exports battery, and we have all the natural and climate resources as well as human skills needed to develop renewable energies and export green energy in the future.
قلنا لماذا لا نصدر هذا الفائض؟
Sonatrach has set itself the goal of boosting primary hydrocarbons production capacity while enhancing the various value chains such as petrochemical industry, transport and marketing with a view to satisfying domestic market needs and conquering international markets.
According to civil defense, a butane gas exploded in the first floor of a building located in Gare de Constantine here in Algiers, resulting in the injury of 9 people who were rescued. A fire went on as well in the aftermath of the incident. More information in our upcoming bulletins. Elements of the National Gendarmerie arrested 3 individuals for setting fire to several hectares of forest villages in the village of Tezrout in the municipality of Dar al-Mizan. The facts of this case date back to Sunday evening around 10 p.m. when the 3 individuals aged between 21 and 38 were celebrating their friend's wedding, lighting fireworks before throwing them into the bushes, which caused a fire and resulted in material losses, including more than 10 hectares of ravaged forest areas. The investigations carried out by the elements of the territorial section of the National Gendarmerie of Dar al-Mizan in coordination with the Research and Investigation Service of the National Gendarmerie of Tizi Ouzou made it possible to arrest in record time the suspects who admitted the facts with which they are accused. The suspects will be brought before the competent courts after completing the investigation. The Palestinian people backed Algeria at the UN Security Council, where it called for an immediate cessation of the Zionist aggression, while the international community is not responding positively to this move. This humanitarian situation keeps deteriorating given the constant Zionist bombings and attacks that are targeting children, civilians, and shelter centers. The latest developments tonight with Wissam Abu Zaid and Ines Killu.
Bolstered by Algeria's honorable position at the UN Security Council, calling for an immediate cessation of the aggression and accountability of the occupier for its crimes, Palestinians are demanding the implementation of international laws following the intensification of Zionist bombardments targeting children, civilians, and shelters.
We call for the preservation of international peace and security and the implementation of international law.
The Palestinians also hailed Algeria's position in the Security Council during its last session in comparison with other international powers after holding an emergency meeting at Algeria's request following the horrific massacre committed by the occupier against displaced Palestinians at the Tabi'in school, where more than 100 Palestinians were brutally killed or wounded, including children and women. This school is one of 172 shelters destroyed since the beginning of the aggression.
We appreciate Algeria's role in taking a stand at the Security Council to stop the genocide and war crimes committed, whether against children or women.
The continuous aggression over the past 11 months has left more than 50,000 people dead or missing and around 100,000 wounded. The Zionist occupier's war machine continues to bomb and destroy residential neighborhoods, resulting in the death of many children and women. And the occupation has forced around 2 million Palestinians to move several times since the beginning of the devastating war.
We live under constant bombardments and we are constantly being moved from one place to another. Every place we find is under attack. Indeed, there is no safe place.
As the international community hesitates to take an immediate action to end the Zionist aggression, the occupation army intensifies its crimes against the Palestinian people with a brutal machinery to commit more massacres.
In Western Sahara, the situation is worsening by the day under the Moroccan occupation, marked by an increasing repression of human rights of the Sahrawi people. Manan Maafa reports.
A strong systematic repression climate prevails in Western Sahara, where the Sahrawi population not only endures abuse and human rights repression by the Moroccan occupier, but also plundering of lands and natural resources. For several years now, the Sahrawis live in terror as the Moroccan occupation authorities target their lands and resources. This violence, which includes both rural and coastal lands, threatens the survival of the Sahrawi people. Not long ago, herds of camels, which are essential for the survival of several Sahrawi families, were savagely killed by the Moroccan army, forcing their owners to abandon their ancestral activities. In Laayoune, the capital of occupied Western Sahara, entire neighborhoods were demolished as instructed by the Makhzen regime. Houses and other vital infrastructure, such as wells, were wrecked, leaving the inhabitants homeless without any basic necessities.
For several days now, the Moroccan authorities are conducting a demolition campaign against all houses and even cabins sheltering the Sahrawi inhabitants for decades. Farms and walls were demolished, threatening the survival of Sahrawis.
وتم كذلك هدم المنازل اللي كانت موجودة على شواطئ البحر منذ عشرات السنين.
Whereas the Sahrawis struggle for their survival, the Moroccan occupier continued to establish a permanent presence on Sahrawi lands. The Moroccan government provides modern facilities in industrial zones, zero-interest loans, and living conditions far superior to those of the Sahrawis. These measures are clearly aimed at reinforcing Morocco's presence in the region, despite international laws at the expense of the Sahrawi people's rights. Meanwhile, the international community remains silent, leaving the Sahrawis abandoned and their right to self-determination still denied.
The end of our news. Thank you so much to our technicians and journalists. Thank you for watching. Take care.